Shri Chaitanya Manubhastam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shutapadakalamanam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Sahagana Padan Salita Shri Vishakhanvitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu
Prabhu
Nityananda
Nityananda Shri
Shri
Advaita
Advaita
Gadadhara Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Ashwari Leela Mataji, for that wonderful Mangalacharan recital. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for joining and making time for us. I think there's something wrong with my video because I can't see. I don't know whether you can see me or not.
We can't see you anyway. It doesn't matter.
I don't know what's happening, but anyway. So we are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 2, Chapter 6. Chapter 6 is the Purusha Sukta confirmed. And we are on text 3 today, Prabhuji. So
I'm thinking we can read through 3, 4, and 5. Is that all right?
Okay, 3, 4, and 5. We can do that.
Yeah, they're all short.
Okay, so we can do that. Hare Krishna, Hare Govind Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so I'll read the verse 3 and the purport. Do I have any volunteers for 4 and 5?
Okay, Mataji, I can read.
Okay, so let me start with 3. Chapter 2, Canto 2, Chapter 6, Text 3. Rupanante jasam chakshur divya surasya chakshini karnaudisam cha tirthasam shrutam akasha sabdayam. Rupanam, for all kinds of forms. Tejasam, all that is illuminating. Chakshu, the eyes. Divya, that which glitters. Sushya, of the sun. Cha, also. Akshini, the eyeballs. Karnau, the ears. Disham, of all directions. Cha, and. Tirthanam, of all the Vedas. Shrotram, the sense of hearing. Akasha, Akash, the sky. Sabdayo, of all sounds. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation: His eyes are generating centers of all kinds of forms, and they glitter and illuminate. His eyeballs are like the sun and the heavenly planets. His ears hear from all sides, and they are receptacles for all the Vedas. And his sense of hearing is generating center of sky and all kinds of sound. Purport. The word Tirthanam is sometimes interpreted to mean the places of pilgrimage. But Srila Jiva Goswami says that it means the reception of the Vedic transcendental knowledge. The propounders of Vedic knowledge are also known as the Tirthas. Hare Krishna, over to you, Arya Govind Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Okay, Mataji. Tadgatram vastu saranam Sobhagasya cha bhajanam Twag asya sparshavayoscha Sarvamedasya chaivahi Tat his Gatram bodily surface Vastu Sharanam of the active principles of all articles Sobhagasya of all auspicious opportunities Cha and Bhajanam the field of production Twak skin Asya his sparsha, touch, vayo of the moving airs, cha also, sarva all kinds of, medhasya of sacrifices, cha also, eva certainly, he exactly. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His bodily surface is the breeding ground for the active principles of everything and all for all kinds of auspicious opportunities. His skin, like the moving air, is the generating center of all kinds of sense of touch and is the place for performing all kinds of sacrifice. Purport. The air is the moving agent of all the planets, and as such, the generating centers for promotion to the deserving planets. The sacrifices are his bodily surface and are naturally the origin of all auspicious opportunities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much, Prabhuji. Would anybody like to read the text 5, translation and purport? Prashanatma Prabhu, would you like to do that? Text 5, translation and purport.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Please accept my humble obeisances. Okay, I'll try. Rome, am I audible?
Yes, you
Yes,
are.
Prabhu. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Romani udbija jatinam yerva yagnastu sambritaha keshashmashrunakani asya shila lohabra vidyutam. Romani, hairs on the body. Udbija, vegetables. Jatinam, of the kingdoms. Yea, by which. Va, either. Yagna, sacrifices. To, but. Samritaha, particularly served. Kesha, hairs on the head. Shmashru, facial hair. Nakani, nails. Asya, of him. Shila, stones. Loha, iron ores. Abriha, clouds.
Oh.
Vidyutam, electricity. Translation. The hairs on his body are the cause of all vegetation, particularly of those trees which are required as ingredients for sacrifice. The hairs on his head and face are reservoirs for the clouds, and his nails are the breeding ground of electricity, stones, and iron ores. Purport. The polished nails of the Lord generate electricity, and the clouds rest on the hairs of his head. One can therefore collect all sorts of necessities of life from the person of the Lord, and therefore the Vedas affirm that everything that is produced is caused by the Lord. The Lord is the supreme cause of all causes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for reading the translation and purport. So over to you, Prabhuji. We have read the 3 text translation and purport. Hare Krishna.
All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to the assembled devotees. Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. So we're continuing our study of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 6, and we read the verses 3 to 5. This chapter is entitled Purusha Shukta Confirmed. And here, Shukadeva Goswami is describing to Maharaj Pariksit something similar to the beginning of the second canto. We remember in the beginning, first stages of yoga, first stages of devotional service are described, related to meditating upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead as he is manifested by his different energies. We hear Srila Prabhupada and other Vaishnavacharyas cautioning devotees to be careful not only to hear about Krishna's internal Leela, his related to the Yoga Maya in his personal transcendental form with his different devotees in Goloka Vrindavan and Vaikuntha, in Sri Vrindavan Dham and Dwarka, Mathura, but also to be very interested to hear about Krishna's Srishti Leela, a connection to all of creation for a number of reasons. One is there's a danger that we could consider Krishna, take him cheaply, that he is simply a child on the lap of Mother Yashoda, a family friend of the Pandavas, like that, which is true. But to forget how powerful Lord Krishna is and how capable he is of protecting us. And how he is Bhoktaram Jagatapasam Sabaloka Maheshwaram, the enjoyer of everything. Bhoktaram Jagatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, the Maha Ishvara, supreme controller of everything, Sarvaloka, and Suridam Sarvabhutanam, the friend of everyone. Otherwise, our surrender to him can be not as strong because we take him cheaply or not properly. Ultimately, we understand as we awaken into our original natural identity of prema bhakti, of raganuga bhakti, just loving Krishna. It becomes less important to understand Krishna's opulence. It's just attracted to him. Just like the residents of Dwarkadam and Mathuradam, Ayodhya, just naturally attracted to Krishna without depending upon how great he is. So here again in this chapter, Shukadeva Goswami is echoing same meditation on Krishna in his Srishti Leela with regard to what we see in front of us, that his eyes are the generating centers of all kinds of forms. They glitter and illuminate. His eyeballs are like the sun and heavenly planets. His ears hear from all sides. His sense of hearing is the generating center of the sky and all kinds of sound. And in text 4, his bodily surface is the breeding ground for the active principles of everything. His skin is the generating center for the moving air. in all kinds of sense of touch and is the place for performing all kinds of sacrifices. The hairs on his body are the cause of all vegetation, particularly of those trees which are required as ingredients for sacrifice. The hairs on his head and his face are reservoirs for the clouds, and his nails are the breeding ground of electricity, stones, and iron ores. So this is describing Krishna's universal form, the Purusha Shukta, Krishna's, just like in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, this may remind us of the 10th chapter, the opulence of the Absolute, where Krishna describes, Arjuna asked that, please let me understand more about you. So I opened that 10th chapter. Let me go to the beginning. This is text 1. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna. Because you are my dear friend, for your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. Neither the host of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigod and sages. He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme Lord of all the worlds, he only undiluted among men is freed from all sins. Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, nonviolence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, and infamy. All these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. The 7 great sages, and before them the 4 other great sages and the Manus come from me, born from my mind, and all the living beings populating the various planets descend from them. And so then Lord Krishna goes on to explain, Arjuna says, indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. Please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you and how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead? O Janardhan, again please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I am never satiated in hearing about you, for the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. The Supreme Personality of God has said, yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent, O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless. So Arjuna asks that, please describe how I can meditate upon you in your different forms. So as we remembered, not just meditating upon Krishna Govinda, Dashodanandana, Sri Dwarkadish, in his spiritual form, um, but also in all of his different forms, that whatever we see is Krishna. The computer screen that we're looking at, the phone, the glass, the wires, the light in the room, the flat that we are living in, the walls, the chair that we're sitting in, or the couch, or the pillow that we're sitting on, it is Krishna. It is a form of Krishna. When we go out and see the sun, so here it is described in this chapter, again, this way of meditating upon Krishna in this particular perspective, that when we go outside and look at the sun, we can think that this is the eyeball of Krishna. And we look at the trees and can consider this as the hairs on the body of the Purusha Shukta, the universal form of the Lord. Just like we have hairs, so the trees are the hairs on the body of the Purusha Shukta, this universal form of Krishna. The rivers are his veins, as Shukadev Goswami described in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam. So in the 10th chapter, it is like that, describing Lord Krishna's telling how of fishes he is the shark, and of sages he is Brihaspati. Of hymns I'm the Brihat Sama, of poetry I'm the Gayatri, of months I'm November, December. I'm the gambling of chiefs, the splendor of the splendid. I am victory, I am adventure, and I am the strength of the strong. So the idea is to always be remembering Krishna. We are instructed by Srila Rupa Goswami in the Nectar Devotion. What is the most important principle in our bhakti? What is the first and foremost, and everything else is only meant to help that? Who remembers? Actually, it's two things together.
Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna.
Yes. So that is our pinpoint laser focus, as we have discussed in other meetings. That at the end of the day, our success is just that. If we are thinking, am I successful? Or am I remembering Krishna? Someone else may not have that ruler to measure our success unless they're a devotee. People have their different value systems, whether we are good or bad, or whether we're successful or not successful. But Krishna, Manmana Bhava Bhakta, Krishna's ruler measure of success is this. Are you my devotee? What is your feeling for me? Are you always thinking of me? Are you always never forgetting me? Which is not an excuse to be lazy or sloppy or irresponsible in our life activities. In fact, in the Nectar Devotion, Srila Rupa Goswami instructs us that we should not be neglectful in ordinary material dealings, that we should try to be as expert and crossing our T's and dotting our I's. What's the word? I think in Hindi, or is it Paka? Just everything very as perfect as possible. But that's not the ultimate success. Whether we say the mantras perfectly, or we have the best singing voice, or whatever it is, are we remembering Krishna, and are we never forgetting him? This is Krishna's yardstick. So we are guided. As Srila Prabhupada writes in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita in the introduction, we may remember, he says that in our daily activities, we can meditate on Krishna instructing Arjuna, and the activities, the pastimes of Krishna and the Pandavas, of Krishna and his other devotees. Meditate on Krishna's transcendental form, divine names like this. And everywhere else. So by this hearing about like this universal form of Krishna, Krishna's connection to everything that we see and everything that there is, it becomes easier and it becomes possible in our everyday life, hour by hour, or at least more often anyway, to remember Krishna. Who remembers some other descriptions of Krishna's presence in Bhagavad Gita? Like he says, I am the strength of the strong. In the 7th chapter, there's many descriptions of Krishna. Who remembers them?
I'm the taste in water.
Taste of Rasaham Apsukantaya. I'm the taste of water. What else?
Among the yagnas, I'm Japa Yagna.
What is that?
Among the yagnas, I'm Japa Yagna.
And what does that mean? I don't understand Sanskrit.
Among the yagna, I'm Japa Yagna. That means I'm among the sacrifices. I'm the sacrifice of the holy name, chanting of the holy name.
Nice. Other? Something else?
Hare Krishna. Of syllables, I'm the syllable Om.
Syllable Om. I'm the intelligence of the intelligent. The light of the sun and the moon. So Srila Prabhupada there in the huh?
Among the great mountains, I'm the Himalayas.
Huh? So anything great and strong, how Lord Krishna ends the 10th chapter. Let's see here. He tells, furthermore, O Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existence. Nothing moving or non-moving can exist without me. O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. So we look out at the universe, the planet Earth, all the planets spinning in space is just a spark of Krishna, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. So Srila Prabhupada writes, the Supreme Lord is represented throughout the entire material universes by his entering into all things as the Supersoul. The Lord here tells Arjuna that there is no point in understanding how things exist in their separate opulence and grandeur. He should know that all things are existing due to Krishna's entering them as Supersoul. From Brahma, the most gigantic entity, on down to the smallest ant, all are existing because the Lord has entered each and all and is sustaining them. So we just recently observed the appearance day of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, who is, we understand, incarnation of Lord Balaram. And in a few days, we will observe the glorious appearance day of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has shown us as Krishna the path of Krishna Bhakti to the ultimate degree in the mood of the gopis, the transcendental madness of love of Krishna. Nevertheless, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would listen again and again to the narrations of the different incarnations of Krishna as Lord Vamana and Matsya, the narrations of Dhruva Maharaj, all the different narrations of Srimad Bhagavatam, he would listen again and again and again. As Srila Prabhupada writes in the Nectar Devotion, when we say Krishna, it doesn't just mean Krishna Govinda, Radharaman, but all the different expansions and forms, transcendental forms of Krishna, that is Krishna, and also us as his tiny expansions And as we are instructed, understanding Krishna's presence as his energy, as his whole material existence. That's another form of Krishna, this Purusha Shukta. So in this way, uh, we can always feel we have the guidance, if we take it, to always feel connected to Krishna and not feel that we are somehow orphaned, that we are disconnected from Krishna, that Krishna is up there somewhere in Goloka Vrindavan or Vaikuntha Loka, and we are disconnected. No. But as Srila Prabhupada explains, that Krishna is present with us within our heart, within everyone's heart is Paramatma, and he is present in the form of his different agents, the demigods, and as his energy, as his Shaktis. On the other hand, so this is Krishna. So because as we just recently celebrated Lord Nityananda's appearance and soon Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, I thought it would be appropriate, and I think it connects to what we're discussing. There are different ways to meditate on Lord Krishna. So there, can you imagine Mother Dashoda or Nanda Maharaj hearing these descriptions that her little son Krishna is his nails are the source of electricity, and uh, what else is it? The polished nails of the Lord generate electricity. I don't think you would want to hear that, or clouds are resting on the hairs of the Lord, on the head of the Lord. His bodily surface is the breeding ground for all the active principles. So these devotees, uh, this is called rasa vasa. That, so for the devotees in spontaneous prema bhakti, uh, they're just simply attracted to the personality of Krishna and the different characteristics of Krishna. Just like we hear uh, in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there's that wonderful chapter, the gopis glorify the song of Lord Krishna's flute. So I'll read a few verses with just a contrast. Uh, the cowherd girl said, "O friends, those eyes that see the beautiful faces of the sons of Maharaj Nanda are certainly fortunate. As these two sons enter the forest, surrounded by their friends, driving the cows before them, they hold the flute to their mouths and glance lovingly upon the residents of Vrindavan. For those who have eyes, we think there is no greater object of vision. Dressed in a charming variety of garments, upon which their garlands rest, and decorating themselves with peacock feathers, lotuses, lilies, newly grown mango sprouts, and clusters of flower buds, Krishna and Balaram shine forth magnificently among the assembly of cowherd boys. They look just like the best of dancers appearing on a dramatic stage, and sometimes they sing. My dear gopis, what auspicious activities must the flute have performed to enjoy the nectar of Krishna's lips independently and leave only a taste for us gopis, for whom that nectar is actually meant. The forefathers of the flute, the bamboo trees, shed tears of pleasure. His mother, the river on whose bank the bamboo was born, feels jubilation, and therefore her blooming lotus flowers are standing like hair on her body. O friend, Vrindavan is spreading the glory of the earth, having obtained the treasure of the lotus feet of Krishna, the son of Devaki. The peacocks dance madly when they hear Govinda's flute, and when other creatures see them from the hilltops, they all become stunned. Krishna, all attracted. Isn't it? We hear this, that Krishna means all attracted. And, as we have discussed many times before, how it is so mad after Krishna, these Vrindavan Vasis, Brajavasis, and Dwarka Vasis, the Vaishnavacharyas. We hear the poetry of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Rupa Goswami and Narottam Das Thakur, and they're so deeply in love with Krishna, so attracted to Krishna. And we listen to Srila Prabhupada speak about Krishna, we can feel, we can sense his, although he did not reveal uh, perhaps as openly as the other Vaishnavacharyas, we can understand by his glorifying Krishna in his lectures and in his books and by his activities, how deeply, deeply in love with Krishna Srila Prabhupada is. But then, so then why? Why not me? Why not others? So why is that? Who would like to offer? What do you remember? Why is that? Why is Dina Sharana not so attracted to Krishna? What is my problem? No doctors in the house? Someone doesn't have the medicine for me?
We are
Because
still
we have
attracted.
material desires.
Material desires. But why? Why would that have some, what does that have to do with it? If I desire some comforts, why would that interfere?
Because if the degree to which we have material desires, to that degree, we're not attached to Krishna.
Like going two ways, two different ways at the same time.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Hmm.
That's good. Someone else? What else? What does Srila Prabhupada tell us?
Contamination, material contamination. We've got a lot of material contamination, layers and layers and layers, and therefore we are not attracted to Krishna.
And what is that contamination? I can't take a bath, wash it, soap and water? What is it? What is that contamination?
So it is uh, the four so the cheating propensity that we have, and the other
Someone else has heard the same thing? What is that about the
The
cheating propensity?
conditionings under the material modes of nature.
Yes. Conditioning under the material modes of nature, which means what? How does that actually manifest? It sounds interesting, but what is it? When does that happen? What is an example of it?
So when we're over endeavoring for material achievements, assets, comforts, that's like we're in the mode of passion. When we're lazy, lethargic, dull-headed, that's mode of ignorance.
Three modes of nature. Yes. So in the Bhagavad Gita, other places, that our psychic functioning, even our bodies, they function in different modes. That's what you're saying. And then when there's too much passion and ignorance, even goodness, that interferes with our natural attraction to Krishna. Yeah, I mean, interferes just in general. We can't even get the laundry done if we're too lazy, you know, and or if we're too passionate and moving too quickly, too mad after something. We often cut corners and don't do things properly and cheat because we want to get it quickly. So certainly that would interfere with divine realization. So the contamination of the three modes of material nature, yes. In the Nectar of Devotion, it's described just like this, about the stage of Baba, that as one becomes situated more deeply and more firmly in Shuddha Sattva, Sattva Guna, and Shuddha Sattva, pure truth, pure knowledge, one is functioning, one is acting in terms of or in the light of pure truth, pure wisdom, rather than uh, ignorance, then one's natural, spontaneous attraction to Lord Krishna awakens more and more. Uh, so yeah, the contamination, as Kirtiga was saying, the contamination of the modes of nature, the three modes, Chaito Darpana Marjanam Baba Mahadavagni Nivarpanam, that as we cleanse our heart of the contamination of the three modes of material nature, we cleanse our heart of the tendency to, we clear our heart of ignorance, of lack of spiritual light, spiritual awareness. As we increase Krishna consciousness, then automatically, where there's light, there is less darkness. What's that in the Back to Godhead magazine? On the front, there was that slogan that um, nescience is darkness, Godhead is light, something like that. But the more we genuinely meditate upon the spiritual nature of Krishna and ourself, illumining our heart with that wisdom, then gradually we act and our values change, and our interest, what we're interested changes, what we're interested in changes. The difference between, we hear about the different, what is it, varnas, Shudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Brahmin, these different categories. They're differentiated. One difference between them is uh, or another way to put it is that the Sudra level is predominantly Tamaguna, Vaishya, mixed passion and ignorance, Kshatriya, more passion, and Brahminical stage, more goodness. And that means specifically and expressly the degree of freedom from the bodily concept of life and the awareness of Krishna. The person, we say Sudra, and then is described the different characteristics that they're um, so much oriented to temporary bodily pleasures and focused upon that, and lazy and lethargic and prone to uh, anger and speaking harshly, all of these things. It's because of such lack of spiritual awareness. And then the Vaishya, a little bit more awake. We can think of a pious person who goes to the mosque or goes to the church or goes to the temple, and they have life to them, and they're busy with their families, and they have business, and they're making money, and they're like this. And generally, they have more, we say more religious, but they have more awareness and acceptance of God and their relationship with God. And then even more so, a genuine Kshatriya. And even more so, the Brahmin, that the Brahmin is so much more awake and conscious of their spiritual identity, that I'm not just this body, and also even more aware of Krishna, and that illumines their heart with sattva guna. So the sattva guna, the more genuine spiritual awareness is, there will be the mode of goodness automatically. And the less of that awareness, then we go down, down, down into the modes of material nature. Now we may say, well, I'm following my sadhana and I'm chanting, but I still feel this contamination. Well, that's because of it's still spinning, the fan of our involvement with the lower modes of material nature. But if we keep on, the fan will slow down, and then the sattva guna will predominate in our hearts. But even that sattva guna, to be a good person, is materialistic because it's related to this material world. And the Shuddha sattva is the nature of ourself, our soul. Uh, as we hear the Vaishnava acharyas explaining to us, that Krishna consciousness is natural. It is who we are. And just as we're discussing, as we wash away the contamination, as we wash the layers away of our previous uh, thinking patterns and habits, and by the will of Krishna, by our desiring to awaken, Krishna awakens us. So not just sattva guna, being a good person, but actually our soul, ourself, not our soul, we are the soul. Uh, uh, and that is Shuddha sattva, where we are in love with Krishna, just like these gopis, just like the parents of Krishna, the friends of Krishna, servants of Krishna. They are awakened, awakened souls, liberated from the material contamination. So Cheto Darpana Marjana Baba Mahadevagmi Nivarpanam. By the process of singing and chanting the divine names of Krishna and following the other practices of Krishna Bhakti, we reawaken. So I wanted to also, so that is, we were hearing from the 10th canto, the gopis. So in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so soon we will be observing the appearance day and remembering him specifically. And so Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Namo Mahavadin Avatar, Krishna Prema Pradayate, the most magnificent avatar form of Krishna, come to give a Krishna Prema, love of Krishna, and to show us the example. And so in the Anjalila, there's one chapter which is described the transcendental madness of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just as we are seeing Maharaj Pariksit hear about Krishna, and we are on the path of Vaidhi Bhakti, hearing about Krishna. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing us, reciting that verse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expressed his burning emotions. Then with great lamentation, he explained the verse to Sarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy. And what was that verse? Oh, here it is. So the background is that, as we know, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Krishna in the mood of Srimati Radharani, and specifically in the mood of Srimati Radharani in her separation from Krishna, just as Uddhava experienced it when he visited Vrindavan. So Krishna, he went to Mathura, he sent his friend Uddhava, dear friend, to Vrindavan to bring the message to the gopis. And they were mad. Yeah, some of us have read that chapter, the gopis and Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda, they were just mad. Their dear Krishna, Govinda, had gone to Mathura and ripped their hearts out. So much feeling of separation. So here, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was expressing this mood that when Srimati Radharani was very much agitated due to feeling great separation from Krishna, she spoke of hers to Vishaka, explaining the cause of her great anxiety and restlessness. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, though the hearts of the gopis are like high-standing hills, they are inundated by the waves of the nectarian ocean of Krishna's beauty. His sweet voice enters their ears and gives them transcendental bliss. The touch of his body is cooler than millions and millions of moons together. So not only are his nails, as the Purusha Shukta, the source of electricity, even more sweet, the sweetness, is that the touch of his body is cooler than millions and millions of moons together, and the nectar of his bodily fragrance overfloods the entire world. Oh, my dear friends, that Krishna, who is the son of Nanda Maharaj and whose lips are exactly like nectar, is attracting my five senses by force. Lord Sri Krishna's beauty, the sound of his words and the vibration of his flute, his touch, his fragrance, and the taste of his lips are full of an indescribable sweetness. When all these features attract my five senses at once, my senses all ride together on the single horse of my mind, but want to go in five different directions. Oh, my dear friend, please hear the cause of my misery. My five senses are actually extravagant rogues. They know very well that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but they still want to plunder Krishna's property. My mind is just like a single horse being ridden by the five senses of perception headed by sight. Each of my senses wants to ride that horse, and thus they pull my mind in five directions simultaneously. In what direction will it go? If they all pull at one time, certainly the horse will lose its life. How can I tolerate this atrocity? My dear friend, if you say, just try to control your senses, what shall I say? I cannot become angry at my senses. Is it their fault? Krishna's beauty, sound, touch, fragrance, and taste are by nature extremely attractive. These five features are attracting my senses, and each one wants to drag my mind in a different direction. In this way, the life of my mind is in great danger, just like a horse ridden in five directions at once. Thus, I am also in danger of dying. So for me, at least, this is just so amazing. This is not how my mind works. I want to eat this and see this and smell that and things in this material world, and it's not fun actually to be uh, uh, lustful after all the different things of this world. It creates a kind of pain because sometimes we can't have them, and but this is the situation of us in our pure um, in our purity, which is something to look forward to. What is this process? That Adal Shraddha, first we have some interest, and then Sadhu Sangha, we associate with devotees, and we hear about Krishna, Bhajana Kriya, we take up the process, we become initiated, Anartha Nivritti. Gradually, the modes of material nature become reduced by the hearing and chanting and the following of the other principles and living our life according to moral principles through the course of life. Nartha Nivritti, Nishta, become more faithful. What is after that? Nishta. What is that? I forget. Bhajana Kriya, Anartana Vritti, Nishta. I forget the Sanskrit word, but then stage after that, ruchi. We develop more taste, more attraction for Krishna, and on and on and on, awakening more and more in natural attraction for Krishna. So that we come to the point that we are just so spontaneously attracted to Krishna and Krishna Bhakti. So we are on this path and making progress. So important to associate with more advanced devotees, to share the association of more advanced devotees among us. We're all, I don't know how to put it, but, all of us together are on the path, and far ahead of us are the fully awakened pure devotees of Krishna, the Nityasiddha devotees, all the different personalities and Srimad Bhagavatam devotees, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, and present on this earth now and recently, so many awakened prema bhaktas. So Srila Rupa Goswami advises that uh, although we associate amongst ourselves and we should have friendly dealings, all of us together should not fail to take the association by hearing, if not physical association, with greatly advanced devotees. Because by there, there's a mystical aspect that simply by associating, just like we're hearing, associating with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Roy and Sarup Damodar through the pages of Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a kind of a mystic, what is it called? Osmosis, which means that, water, when it's touching paper, it just paper automatically becomes wet. So there is a transference to a degree of devotion to Krishna just by being in the vicinity of pure devotees. And then also we become, I'm not sure if intellectually is the word, but, we hear uh, how attractive, what is this situation of prema bhakti? And then we desire it. We desire what we hear about. It's just like anything. Someone comes from the mall or say, oh, there's this fantastic sale. They're selling all these things. They're so beautiful. You don't see them very often. Oh, I should go. So the same thing. So we associate with devotees who are mad after Krishna, and then, oh, I want that too. I want that. So important. So I thank you all for tolerating me and having me again. I feel so uh, blessed by this opportunity. Are there any questions or discussion, comments, anything?
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for today's session and reminding us of the three modes of nature and how they interact with us and take us away from Krishna. And at the same time, if we saw Krishna in all the things around us, we will be near Krishna. And through the various stages of from Anath, Nivritti to Prema. Are there any other questions or comments for Prabhuji? I know we have exhausted our time, but if there are questions or comments, we can take one or two. Okay, there being no questions or comments, and because we have exhausted our time, may I request Arya Govind Prabhu, Hare Krishna Prabhu, are you able to end the session for today?
Yes,
Hare-
yes, ma'am. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for this wonderful session on this very complicated subject. Actually, the describing the Virat Roop of Krishna and then various parts connected to various material objects, and then how we can connect ourselves to the devotional aspects, like how Yashoda Mata was connecting with Krishna, and she wouldn't believe that Krishna's nails is like electricity. So thank you, Prabhuji, for giving this wonderful session. I request all
She
the
would tell you
devotees
to stop saying such crazy things.
Yes, yeah. The path of devotional service and discussing the pastimes of Krishna is uh, more easy for us to get involved in devotion rather than discussing the Virat Roop, which is difficult to digest and then difficult to absorb in our minds. And pastimes more we can relate more to the pastimes of the Lord, which we can remember, and then we can remember these. Yes. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I request all the devotees to unmute and chant Hare Krishna mantra once in glorification of His Grace Dina Sharan Prabhu.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Grace Dina Sharan Prabhu ki jai. Thank you,
All glories to
Prabhuji.
Srila
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada. All glories to Sri Gorpanim, which is quickly coming. I wish everyone a good week and have a safe week, and pray that we all remember Krishna more and more.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. Yes, thank you
Hare
very
Krishna.
much.
Thank
Hare
you again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Govind Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare